You did?
Yeah.
I'm
I got no internet.
It's fine.
I got kicked off the internet.
Ooh, just that seemed like a little too soon, but it's a 5 o'clock bus. You're not on either?
I was on, but I got kicked off, but just keeps loading. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our town board meeting for February 18th. Will you please join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That wasn't me, was it?
Is it?
Is that me? It shouldn't be.
It's not gonna be good.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Slota? Here. Mr. Simonis?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Hulbert?
Here.
Mr. Warden?
Here. Okay, before we go to communications, does anybody have a problem? Do you want Renee to speak on the,
Which one do you want us to use?
well, do you want her to give you a quick thing of what we went through, or do you want to wait until later on? She has to leave
She
tonight.
wants to do it now.
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay,
Is
can
that
everybody
right?
hear me? All right.
Yes.
There's still probably gonna be some tweaks here and there. I sent y'all an email and the TLDR of the whole thing. That's yours.
I'm not plugged in though.
Oh, maybe your lapel mic is still plugged in. There you go. But when in that email, you can see what I found when I opened up the cabinet is basically coming because all the antennas were all kind of wrapped up around each other. And then the settings were not set to where it's kind of the most beneficial for the room. So the only thing we had to do was pretty much find the settings that were going to work best for this room. That's part one. Part two is, I know the lapel mics can kind of be a little inconvenient. So all of the headsets that you have right now came with the system. So you have the options of wearing the headset, whatever's comfortable. You can pick up and talk with the microphone like this. Or if you wear the lapel mic, I know Gene, if I can pick on you for a minute, one of the things to remember about the lapel mics is the pattern of those microphones. That pattern is only about this wide. So I know you like to wear it on your lapel,
No,
but if you wear it, okay, if you wear it directly here,
that's where I wear it.
okay, and you talk down, that should pick it up. But because of where you sit, you have to turn your head a lot, and it's not going to pick up. If it's here and your head's going like this, it's not going to pick up. So that headset might take care of the issue for you where everybody can hear. But for right now, it's probably going to take some tweaking, these levels and all of that stuff. But the headsets that you have, they've never been used, and they were just part of the package that came with everything. When I was digging around back there is where I found them. So there's that option. There are the ones I'm wearing. This one's mine, because I like it. It's comfy. It goes behind the head, and it's double ear. And they're like $30 on Amazon. So we have a couple of different options. If anybody has any questions or anything like that about how to use it, what to do, what was going on in the cabinet, y'all can let me know.
Well, it appears that there's a remarkable improvement.
Yes, like I said, there was all the antennas were up against each other, causing a lot of interference. The settings, when I was looking at the settings, they were not, you kind of have to play with them a little bit, and they were all discombobulated. So I just moved around and looked around to see what would best work for this room. And quite honestly, this is the first real big test because everybody's mics are plugged in. So it's probably still going to take a little bit of tweaking because they don't want to overload the mixers or anything like that, just to keep y'all aware. But we have a lot of wiggle room to adjust now.
So can you hear the background noise when you talk now? There's kind of like a rumbling, kind of like, when you're talking, like right now, I can hear, when I'm talking, there's kind of like an extra noise with it.
And that might,
That's somebody breathing.
and that
Right.
might be, if your microphone is too close.
Everybody stop breathing.
But I hear it when you're talking, not when you're breathing.
Okay,
Or is it somebody else breathing while I'm talking?
and that,
It's just, yeah.
yeah, that could be. And some of it is a matter of levels. Right now, I've got them fairly loud, so we can make sure that it works. And I want to see what the system can handle, and then we can adjust accordingly and turn it down so the people at home, because basically what we hear in this room, that's what the people at home hear. Because our system is entirely integrated together between our meeting software, our camera, our streaming, our audio, everything. So it's kind of, there's a little bit of an art to the science.
So right now, I hear you very well when you're over there.
Right. You want me further back?
No, I'm just, because you were up here, either that or somebody stopped breathing up here.
And that, and that might be, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of, from the audience, whatever is unclear, or if there is noise or feedback, because like that's somebody's moving their microphone.
That's me.
They are quite sensitive. So if it's a matter of, convenience, I said we can work on the levels, or you can go back to using the microphone like this. Either way is going to be fine. But it's wireless, so wireless has, sometimes wireless can be a little wonky. There's a lot of interference. The more bodies you get in, the more Wi-Fi signals that are being used, fed into the mixer, there's going to be stuff. So we can address that stuff as it happens and kind of work with the levels of everybody's microphones and see what we can do from there. But it seems like the system that we have, I know it's only a year old, is probably, in my opinion, adequate for our needs. And what we can do is make sure that we have the proper microphone discipline, the proper levels, and then see where we go. And if it works, great. If not, then we can look at other options.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Any
Thanks, Renee.
questions for Renee?
None.
Okay.
None.
All right.
Let's see how it rolls.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. All right, we're going to continue on to 3 communications.
I have a couple here. First off, I'm going to bring up that Nicholas Spencer with Smith Brothers Insurance is looking for a decision from the board concerning cybersecurity. I think Kevin's going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. And did the board get my email with my memo concerning seeking a grant for record scanning?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as you can see, trying to apply for a grant with the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund through the New York State Education Department. There is one change in my letter. Tim's rate at $50 an hour for no more than 20 hours. We'd like to change that to 25 hours because we found out today that we got to change Hal Snowpack's name to Kevin's name for a few things, which is finicky and takes time. In terms of the terms and conditions for the grant, if this is okay with the board, we will need a couple resolutions. We'll need to authorize Tim, of course. We'll need to adopt the New York State Archives LGS-1 retention schedule everybody already uses. We'll have to appoint somebody, me, as a records management officer, and we will need a resolution concerning MWBE compliance, which only applies to state-funded grants, federal or state-funded grants, and it's a best effort kind of thing. And if this is okay with the board, I would request a motion, at the very least, to authorize Tim to pursue this. He's been writing grants for over 10 years, so he's familiar with this process.
What would the board like to do? Would they like to address this at this time or
Future topics list.
for a future topic?
The deadline is March 31st.
To do the grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure Tim's going to be comfortable without a motion authorizing him tonight, but the resolutions can obviously wait until the next meeting.
Okay. Board wishes to put it on a future topic?
Okay.
Okay. All right, moving on. Open forum. Guests shall speak in an orderly fashion or limited remarks of 5 time minutes or less. The speaker shall deliver their comments or concerns in civil tone and without the use of profanity, personal attacks, or other disruptive behavior, which will result in the offender's removal from the meeting. The speaker shall not be interrupted except in a matter of urgency. Would anybody like to speak tonight? Come on up. Unless you want to yell from the back. No, come on up.
My topic tonight is going to be the smoke shops. We have 5 of them within a mile, plus the distribution center. And I would like the board to think about a moratorium on them, because I think we have too many in our little town. And if you go and sit in front of them, you can watch some of the people that come purchase their stuff. We've already had 2 of these businesses go against the law. One didn't have a license, the other was selling a product that wasn't displayed properly or something. So we've already had issues with them. And I think we're getting too many of them. I know it's a help with taxes because it fills up the plazas and stuff, but I think we've got enough of them. And it's just a distraction for our kids. And the more you read about them, the more we're getting health issues. There's claiming for this product, so I think we should have a moratorium on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Okay. Seeing nobody else, we're going to move on to old business. 5.1 wastewater treatment plant updates. These are pay apps. Everybody take a look at those. Greg is on a water main issue right now, so.
I have no questions.
I don't have any.
Do we like to make some motions to approve them?
Aren't there resolutions later for them? Because I don't want to get away from our resolution policy.
I don't see resolutions for 'em.
Yeah, I don't remember if Leeson sends those resolutions and I look at them, but I mean, typically I think Barton and LaJudas had been preparing those. And I certainly wasn't flagged to put any together.
Yeah, I'm lost at this one. I don't know if I thought we did them by resolution. I'm not, I know we did the last ones by, I know we do the change orders by resolution. But I don't know in the past if we were doing all the pay apps by resolutions.
I did not go back and look at it because they weren't on the resolutions. I just thought they were here for our information, so that's all I looked at it for.
Okay.
But we've done a lot of these in the past, right? And I can't
I think I hear
remember.
Greg saying they're done through the abstract.
They're done through the abstract, but I didn't know if we had to make motions or we never have. Okay.
So
It's-
the-
So I'm getting confused with the change orders because we have change orders that we have to do resolutions for.
Because they're not in the abstract.
Okay, so these are just the pay apps that go, because she gets these and then they go for the draw. This is draw 66, I believe. All right, so the board doesn't have any issues with them?
No, none.
Okay. Okay, moving on then. 5.2, building conditions study. This would be, everybody saw the information that Greg sent you? Have any questions, concerns? Where do we go from here?
So sorry about that. So we're supposed to tell them that we looked at what they presented us, and if we have any kind of things that we thought that they missed or add on, well, we have to acknowledge that we saw them before they bring back their, whatever they call it, their recommendations. Is that the way I got it? Because we haven't got all of what they were going to present us. Is that kind of what?
If you wanted to add what they put in that email that I sent you, there's a few other things that you add if you wanted it in there. That's really all it was. As long as we're good with the format and everything that was in there, then they'll put the final draft to us.
In your letter, Greg, for the 212 letter that you sent to the board for the 1 year, 5 years, will those be incorporated into their final report?
They are in their final report. They're in their current report now. I will make sure that all of the information is still in there, in their final report, yes. It's in there currently, and I'll make sure it's in there for the final one as well.
Okay.
So do they need a formal statement from us, or just you're gonna give them the okay, or, because I've got nothing to add to their report.
I'll just give a recommendation from Alex and I'm assuming that we'd like to see the final draft. Whatever else we collectively come up with here, I can give it to them. If you're good with what it is, I'll tell them we're good with what it is.
I'm good with what you have. If anybody else would like to add stuff or change it?
I do not.
No, I think you could make that the final draft. When I look at all this, though, I guess I would look to you and even Darren on a lot of this and read through this study and kind of determine it. I know they ran through their own triage, but at some point, we've got to look at this with some recommendation from the two of you in how we're going to plan on, approaching these and providing the funding for them. It's great to have the report. That's awesome. It looks like they were pretty thorough. I didn't completely go through it. I hit the highlights for sure, but I guess I would look to the two of you to say, hey, these are the ones that, need the flag on them right now, and we should be budgeting that this year or next year, when budget season comes up. I think we need to have that piece of it as opposed to just having the study.
The 1 through 8 that you see there that I did, I went through and highlighted what I thought, we're prepared, like the roof, floor, what I thought was higher on the list of what we should be doing first.
So these are all the ones, would you say then everything that you highlighted there in 1 through 8 would be in the next budget cycle?
If we don't have it already allotted. then
Right,
that
and I
would-
don't know what's already in there, right? I'm assuming some of this could be in the current budget.
Correct, yep.
Because it certainly, if that's the case, Greg, I think just to keep it on the radar to move it forward, because it looks like there's a bunch here that are kind of within the 3 to 5 period, 10-year. I just don't want it to get lost after, this is done and that's the next budget cycle. I think this is gonna be an annual review of this, so we keep progressing along and not get to the kind of the balloon stage where everything is broken.
Correct.
Anyone else have anything for Greg on this?
So Greg did ask that I think that you authorize the hiring of a grant writer. And so he, in one of his notes, I think on there, he mentioned reaching out to a second potential source who declined to do just the grant writing. So if you want a resolution to hire a grant writer to take this building condition survey once it's finalized and try to find some grants for you, if you want that, I don't want that to get forgotten.
No, I think that's an important piece of it. Especially if there's funding out there that's available to address some of these.
Greg, what was the issue with the grant writer not wanting to do it?
It was a larger, like, engineering firm. They wanted more than just doing grant writing. They wanted, like, we'll design a building for you, then we'll look for the grant. They really didn't want to just do a grant writing. They wanted to incorporate more than just that.
Gene, their grant writing portion in that firm is kind of a, I'll say an add-on for clients. They don't do it as a separate business. It's usually something additional they'll offer to their current clients or a new client.
Okay.
So are you gonna get proposals from somebody for the grant then?
It was on the budget, or it was on the agenda last week. I see it didn't make it this time around.
No, I thought I saw it there.
It might be, but I already had one.
It's the file labeled 26_0121 TOC DPW.
So I saw that and I thought that was married in with the conversation about the firm who didn't want to do just the grant writing. So that clears up that question.
So reach out. I think I'll give it you. You have to sign it.
Well, it's up to the board.
I have no issues pursuing this. I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something we should move on.
I agree, because we had good luck already
Yeah.
in the past.
100%. So what I would do then is put a resolution together authorizing her services, and then the only other thing, I think, Greg, to just double check with her is, in the board, do you want her, the scope of services she identifies, Greg, is that all like 1 year immediate stuff? So I'm assuming you'd actually like her to do, I'm making an assumption here, you tell me. You probably want her to also try to find grants for the 3 to 5 year needs as well, because those are larger projects that would take possibly 3 or 5 years to even get through to the end. Things that are getting done this year, you're probably not going to get a grant for.
So Greg, in this scope of what she's doing, which did you discuss with her on which to go after? The 1 year, the 1 year recommendations or the 3 to 5?
One.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that what she proposed didn't include research for the 3 to 5.
No, it was the 1 through 8 that I highlighted that was the most important to us. That's what we wanted her to look at.
Okay, why don't we start from there? I'm not opposed to her looking at the 3 to 5, but I don't think I wanna pollute this scope with adding something additional to it. We can certainly do a follow-up for anything that's out there, because you're right, Nate, those are larger projects and will certainly take some time. But to avoid further delay, I think we move on what's in front of us. I mean, we've used her enough where we know what the fees are.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the scope was aligned with what you guys were thinking. So immediate needs, and then we can revisit 3 to 5 years and 10 years in a few months potentially.
Okay,
I'm fine.
so we need a resolution for this.
Right. Unless you want to do it by motion and have a resolution at the next meeting acknowledging that you passed something.
It's up to the board. What's the board's wishes?
Resolution.
Do you want to wait till next meeting to have a resolution before I,
That's my opinion.
I'm okay with that.
all right? Next meeting. Future topic. Okay, 5.3 procurement contracts. I'm sure this is you, Nate.
Yep, so we had a conversation at the last meeting. I touched base with Joy and Greg, and I am actually still looking at the contracts they sent to me, which are the state and county contracts on which they are telling me they would plan on piggybacking purchases off of for this coming year. What you'll see is two attachments to this are modifications to the procurement policy. The one that we talked about last meeting was the emergency authority to delegate authorization to the department heads to make purchases in the event of, what I'll call a bona fide emergency. I put not to exceed $10,000. If you think a lower amount should be used, I'm not married to that. That's just felt like a number that would cover most of the emergencies that they might run into and give them that flexibility. While I was doing that, I thought to myself, well, let's also put a draft together that more broadly delegates authority to the department heads to make purchases in any event without prior town board approval, so long as they follow the procurement policy of getting quotes and things like that. That I also pegged at 10 grand. The idea there being, to the extent that they can't purchase things without town board approval, they might need to make purchases, today, tomorrow, and waiting 2 weeks could slow down the efficient operation of the town. That's the theory anyway. You'll note a red line at the very beginning. Under the purpose section, I removed language relating to best value. My understanding is the town has not passed a local law authorizing you to utilize best value purchasing. And so if you want to do that, then if you want to have a local law that authorizes that, which I think is a good idea, then let's do it. In my emails from like a year and a half or 2 years ago, I'd flagged this to Jim DeGennaro when he was the interim town supervisor. And I think it got just, that didn't get revisited by the board due to the change in administration, I think. So it jumped out at me. We might want to do that.
Can you forward that one?
The email I'd sent to Jim?
Yes.
Yeah, I will try to dig it out again. It's in my Coughlin emails, which are not always the easiest. Yeah, Darren's pointed out there is a separate resolution that you guys do annually for him relating to highway department purchases, but I think it's $15,000 total, not $15,000 on like each individual purchase. So this would give you broader authority than what the town board's resolution does at the beginning of the year. Again, you don't have to. You can require every single purchase to come to the town board prior to the department head actually placing a purchase order.
Everything?
Yeah, I think it's everything. That's
Well, that's the way that it is now.
I don't believe that is. So if Adam needed to buy computers, he goes and buys computers if it's in his budget.
Yes, but the town board has to review those proposals and make sure that it's procured right and everything's there, and then we
Not if
authorize
it's
that.
under the procurement.
What do you mean?
If it's under the $5,000.
Right.
No, we're not doing anything the way that this delegated purchase authority, that isn't a process that we have in place
Look-
right now.
So you're saying everything that's being purchased right now is coming before the board before it gets, they can go ahead and buy it.
That's what the vouchers are for.
Okay, that's what the vouchers are for. Some people view those. But, go ahead, what everybody wants to do with this. Holy shit. What everybody wants to do with this.
I like this. I think this is a, because obviously this could be reviewed annually. Obviously, we have the authority to revoke it at any time. From my perspective, I think to make it in keeping with what we've done with Darren, I think those limits should be at 15,000.
I think you guys are crazy for giving up financial responsibility and delegating that to department heads. I don't.
In an emergency situation?
An emergency situation, the department heads, there's nobody in the town that has any ability to define an emergency or declare an emergency except for the highway superintendent and the town supervisor. And once that's done, all the procurement policies and everything go out the window anyway.
You're 100% correct in that.
And I don't see any reason to
100%
change
right.
that.
There's only two people that can deem an emergency in the town. So me and Darren.
So you're saying this would be irrelevant anyway?
And it's not limited to $10,000.
But what you're saying is then this piece we're discussing right now about delegating authority during an emergency is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we're talking about it then.
That's not the one that I was talking about. The one I
I'm
was
talking about the one
Yeah.
here that says
Right.
delegating emergency authority.
Yep. I don't believe it needs to be there.
That's the one I'm looking at. And from what you just said to me, if that's the case, only those two can declare that emergency. I don't know why we're talking about this. We don't need this. Because if that's the case and our procurement policy goes out the window under those circumstances, this is irrelevant.
Mhm.
We don't need it.
Yeah, ultimately, this is all a policy decision for you folks. You know, if you want to have a very clear policy as to what individual department heads' authorities are, you know, or if you think that you don't need it, you know, but the board needs to all be on the same page as to what purchasing authority individuals have in the town.
Nate, I was looking at this strictly under the emergency one, as far as delegating the authority. Again, I'm not in favor of doing either one of these. If that's the case, and our procurement policy goes out the window during an emergency, I'm looking to move on.
Yeah, I mean, the procurement policy is about the due diligence necessary prior to making a purchase. In an emergency, you don't have to follow the due diligence. However, to me separately is the question of who has the authority to actually make a purchase.
Well, I want to clarify what you're saying about the due diligence. It doesn't remove the requirement for due diligence, it postpones it. You still have to collect all the proper documentation, you still have to do all that, you just don't have to go out and get public bids for that. You can select somebody to do the emergency work.
Right. But who chooses the vendor to provide the emergency work?
Mhm.
And that's a town board decision.
Mhm.
And so there might be an emergency that requires the hiring of a contractor, let's say a water main break, and Greg's guys need somebody to come in.
And
So I-
that falls to the town supervisor.
And so I think what you're saying is Kevin would have to declare an emergency, file the appropriate paperwork with the county to show an emergency, and then you're saying Kevin has the authority at that point. It's been a while since I've looked at the state declaration of emergency statute. But your understanding is Kevin could then make a purchase without town board approval at that point.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it. And I have no issue with keeping in line with that state issue. The clarity on that is what an emergency is. It's not lack of planning, it's like, I forgot to tell you that this bill came in, that's not an emergency issue. So we just have to stay within the defined definition of that. And that's worked well, it's worked in the past.
So what you're saying, Nate, is if Kevin's not here, there should be a deputy emergency declaration person, or what?
The deputy supervisor.
Or say both of them weren't there? Or is that all you're looking for, is just a statement saying? if one
No,
of them-
there's a form that has to be filed with the county. I don't remember. I think it might go to the state office of emergency services, and those get filed. And an emergency declaration lasts for a period of time, suspends the normal processes of law regarding municipal functions. But I mean, that means, if there's, let's say, a water main break in the middle of the night, and a vendor needs to be brought on board, then Kevin or the deputy supervisor will need to get kicked out of bed to sign some forms to, and I don't recall if that's like, okay, well, we can just do it in the morning type of thing. I'd have to look into that.
It is. It is not something that has to be done before that. In the state of emergency, there's a period of time that paperwork just needs to get completed.
So then probably if I'm Kevin, I'd look to the department head who's saying, oh, well, this was an emergency. I'd say, well, then you put that paperwork for me together. And then if Kevin agrees it's an emergency, then he would file it in the appropriate places.
But if it wasn't an emergency,
Then your department head would have made committed to a purchase of something without due authority.
so how do you want to handle that?
So is this an amendment here, in essence, giving, just so I'm understanding this correctly, giving Greg the power to make that decision without asking Kevin first, or as a department head?
Yeah, the emergency one would allow any of the department heads, right, because it's all of them, to make emergency purchases in the event something like that happens without, and it wouldn't, again, it's been a while since I've looked at the true declaration of emergency statute. There's probably some light between an emergency affecting, the health, safety, and welfare of the community as opposed to something that might be, I don't know, affecting the town clerk's office. The computers are all down, we need to get IT in here, it's gonna cost $4,000, we're not gonna be up and running until that happens, but Adam will have to wait for board authorization, because I'm not sure that affects the health and safety of the public in the same way
As a water main break?
as a water main break. But some might argue it's still an emergency. It's not the same type.
So now we're making what the definition of an emergency is. Whether we're declaring an emergency in the town or whether certain things an emergency as it's deemed by a department head.
Well, the state's already defined.
I
those.
understand that,
Emergency's
Gene, but
defined by the
what I'm saying is we're
comptroller's
still
office.
talking about this, and if we're not delegating emergency authority here from the purview of the procurement policy, I don't know why we're talking about this.
I don't support the delegating of purchase authority in this document for the emergency services for two reasons. That authority already exists today as it is right now with those two people. And I cannot think of a municipal emergency that would cost less than $10,000.
Me either.
So I don't see a value for that in this document.
I have to agree.
Let's move on.
Whatever you want to do.
Also, just to say that I think, to the extent that this applies to Darren, who I know has separate authority as a highway superintendent for various things, which he will vigorously defend. To the extent it does apply to Darren, or certainly Greg otherwise, don't buy anything without town board approval.
with Darren's as highway superintendent, that's a separate issue. Because this other one that I'm looking at specifically says department heads.
Yeah, there are some things that I think Darren's statutory authority gives him the ability to do above and beyond what Greg might do. Now, to the extent that he has been delegated duties in addition to being the highway superintendent from the town. I don't have an exhaustive list of everything he's doing, but there might be some things.
Well, I don't want to confuse the issue between department head and highway superintendent. Because the highway superintendent is an elected position, and he has statutory ability to do his job within that law. A department head is a local town of Shenango term that we're just kind of muddying the waters with. And Darren is the department head for the highway department, but that doesn't give the department head for the highway department elected official abilities. So I need to keep this separation separate from those two issues.
I'm fine. So
Well,
it's a board decision, so.
yeah, I don't support it, either one of them.
No, and the issue that I have with just the delegated purchasing to the department heads, that's a budget issue, and they're well within their rights, as far as I'm concerned, to go and get pricing on and whatever is in their budget already, to get those quotes and present that to the town board to procure.
Yeah, I'm good.
Was this brought up just to do like an annual review of it? Or was there a big push to, were we out of whack, we have to adjust things? We were brought it up, or did you bring it up, Nate, or,
This is a big issue with the comptroller's office.
okay?
They've been here for the last 2 weeks, and this was one of the number one thing that they looked at in the town. We need to do this right.
So they're suggesting that we make these changes?
No, I don't believe this has any, I'm just telling you what I sat with them, and I know Gene sat with them, and procurement is a big deal. And there are some things that we're not doing correctly with it, but we'll address that soon.
So Dave, I think, it's really right now about tightening the process up.
Yeah,
So
just tightening.
Greg, probably every single meeting, needs to come with a list of all every single department head, except for perhaps Darren, needs to come with a list of all the stuff that they want to buy, with all the supporting documentation showing how much it's going to cost, how much, and that they've met the procurement policy's due diligence requirements. Under $5,000, just go get one price. More than $5,000, come with two. Over the thresholds for competitive bidding, competitively bid. So they should probably do that every single meeting, because they probably have purchases that they plan on making within every single day. So they need to come and present all that to you, and then you guys have a motion authorizing those purchases.
So you say we gotta tighten things up a bit, but we have everything in place now as long as we follow it? Do we need anything extra that we're not doing to make sure the process is done properly?
Just one of the issues was we have to make sure everything's recorded in the clerk's office. Every bid that they get, every quote, everything, it has to be in one area. If they want to have copies in their own office for their own records, that's fine. But all the stuff has to be in the clerk's office instead of all over the place.
So what I see here basically does not achieve any of that they're asking for.
No.
No, and this isn't about how or where records are kept, right? Records should always be kept in the town clerk's office. That's just where they should be. And so that's something that's a policy change for the department heads. Hey, you keep copies, but you gotta make sure everything is ending up with Adam, so he can have a big ol' file cabinet with like all the procurements for the year.
So I guess I'm done talking about this.
Does anybody else have anything on this?
I have nothing.
None.
Okay, moving on. 5.4, salt shed discussion. You want to talk on this, Darren?
Huh? Sorry. Jeepers. Yes. So you asked to get some ideas on pricing, what it would cost us. And I started putting stuff together. Our estimated increase, I'll start off with, from what was put in through the grant. Our estimated increase by the time we're said and done is gonna be somewhere between $90,000 and $106,000 more, plus the engineering costs. It's a 10 to 15% increase for after March and then July, because the price of material costs and all that stuff have gone up, and after March. And then in July, they're projecting labor rate increase. So that's on there. So I put a rough between a 10% and a 15% increase, like I said, is 90 to 106,000. So with those figures, we did the grant for 720,000. The grant amount was for 560. Our portion was 140, plus we budgeted 20 for demolition. So it was 160. So I was looking at the budget for this year, and on the figures under the Wallace Road project, we had budgeted 400,000. We've expended 182,095.10. There's some about 30,000 left anticipated expenditures because we got an extension till next year to finish, leaving me about an estimate balance of 187,904.90, which I believe if we were to utilize that money would pretty much cover the extra that we already knew, on top of what we already knew we budgeted for ourselves. Did I explain that right? I think I did, but.
No, it makes sense to me.
Were those, the Wallace Road project, wasn't that a grant project?
Yeah.
Is this the local match portion of it, or no?
That 400 is what we budgeted to match out of our budget line.
But that wasn't grant funds.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't,
Do we have exposure there then on what we were supposed to match?
No, we should be matching right along. I think what Darren has identified is the project didn't cost as much as expected. It's coming in under budget. Hooray.
Yep.
Yeah, yes, so that's why we have that much, because we budgeted for 400,000, thinking it was gonna be more, our match, so.
isn't the salt shed under general fund?
Yes, and so is the.
So how are you taking?
So is the Wallace Road, because it's under drainage,
It's under drainage.
under the same thing.
8540, I got it, when I. I don't know,
And I
I'm
don't have that
surprised that
figure.
you're saying that 400 is what was local. Budget, 8540.
So I don't see it under any type of aid. There's no, so that wasn't a grant.
That's our side of the
Okay.
money that we budgeted.
That's what I was looking for,
Yeah.
make sure we didn't have it in the revenue side
Yeah, I
under some
couldn't
type of
find it
grant.
in- Yeah, I couldn't
I
find it
wanted
in
to
the
make
aid
sure of
either.
that.
I couldn't find it in the aid either, so that's why I just went off of that line out of our money, not knowing exactly what it was gonna cost, the end match cost. Because we anticipated a lot more with that grant going out the bid though, and then the bid project coming back. Am I explaining that right, Nate?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I remember you being pleasantly surprised when the bids came in because it was
What was
much
the grant
lower.
amount for that job? Do you remember? I guess because
I
my
do
question
not.
is, did we match what we were supposed to?
Yeah, so this was a 90-10, was it not?
That was my question on the exposure was, did we already match?
It was a 90-10, 10% match. I do not remember the exact figure. But it was definitely a lot less than what we anticipated that we put the grant for.
And we satisfied our 10%?
Correct. That's what that 182 is ours all along. Troy's been right on top of that.
Why isn't it in the revenues?
The grant?
Yeah.
Because it was a carryover.
Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, what was that?
We got the grant.
Correct? Because it was
Yeah,
we expended the grant last year, correct? And then,
Yes. Yeah, so it should have.
I just remember I'm trying to remember the
closed it out-
conversation during budget
We closed it
time.
out last year,
We
yeah.
expended the grant last year, and then you wanted,
On the cleanup.
because the project wasn't done.
So I'm looking at the award letter from October 2024. It says the funding was made available in an amount not to exceed total project costs of $420,000 with a federal share of $378,000 and
Yeah.
the required non-federal matching share of $42,000.
Yeah, this 420 that's in the budget, that's the whole project cost. And we don't have that 300 in the revenues. So,
78, right.
yeah. So you don't have that 187,000.
So if, Darren, you expect the total project cost to be 212,000? Because that's the 182 to date plus the 30.
That's what we spent. Yes, that was our portion.
If that was the town's 10% share, though, that would be like a $1.8 million project.
Yeah. That's the project cost, and you're gonna submit that for the grant reimbursement of 90%. Because even if they awarded it at 420, they're only gonna pay you what 90% of the actual expensed.
Right, yeah, yes.
And in the 2020,
It's not in there. We had it in the revenue.
Well, because the grant funds would be revenue to the town. But it's revenue that has to be used specifically for that project. So if the local match was gonna be 42,000 and you're only spending 21,000, then you would probably have $20,790 that you would have budgeted town funds for, which are not being expended, because we don't need to spend it on the whole project amount.
No, yeah, I can't see that, so it's in the numbers. Right, but I thought we had all that money because it equaled ourselves out in the
Is this a federal
revenue.
grant?
Yeah,
So is this what's under federal aid
yes,
for the federal aid emergency disaster, 360,000
yes,
in the revenue?
yes.
So that's where the revenue
That's the
side.
revenue is 360,000. So it isn't.
But what they're
revenue.
saying is that's not true revenue, because you only allowed,
Yeah,
Right, we're only getting,
we're gonna wind up with 191,000.
give or take, yeah. Because we can't use that when it comes back for this? Because it's a grant? Because that money's coming back to us, so we could use that.
Yeah, so your point, Darren, is what you would end up doing, once the monies are reimbursed, right? You believe that will go towards fund balance.
Correct.
So.
I guess now, speaking at it this way, I was looking at it the other way. I was looking that we budgeted 400,000 in that line. Understanding, knowing that whatever we got, we still had 400 budgeted for the project to do. So that's my,
But, right, because
Well, not-
the,
my misunderstanding on the whole 400 that we didn't have budgeted completely.
right, because out of that 420, 378 was from grants.
Right.
But my notes from our discussion from the 25 to the 26 budget year is that there was only about $20,000 spent at the end of 2025. And that's why the 420 was reduced to 400. That's still, that 400 is the project cost of what was in there. So it's not, that was a project. Because that was the grant amount.
Right.
And that 400 is offset by the number that's in the revenue.
Right.
And if we don't get the revenue,
We don't have the.
you don't have it.
Right, I was looking at the revenue totally different than that, so that's my fault. So with that being said, then we have to, then that 187 roughly is what we have to come up with somewhere on top of the 160 that we already said. And if that comes back and we can utilize that as it, I would see utilizing that money going back towards the salt shed then, I would ask for. But again, when this goes to bid, I don't know, we could be in the same boat, it could be less, it could be more, I don't have a figure, because I can't get an exact quote from anybody because it's gotta go to bid.
Well, I don't agree with that at all. You can absolutely get an idea of what the project is gonna cost, because I can't support spending $30,000, $40,000. I don't remember what that bid number was to design a building that we don't have the potential to get back. Because that's not how that's not how the projects work.
Well, I have, like I said, it's another 90 to 106 on top of the 160, so you're looking at 266,000 that we have to come up with. If those figures stay the course.
But a portion of that is already budgeted for.
160 of it was budgeted already. So we gotta come up with the 106, and then obviously the engineering firm that we wanna choose, which is on top of that. But I also can't see throwing $560,000 away.
Well, yeah,
for a
that's my
grant
concern.
That came from the DEC, that they're pretty much forcing all these guys to make sure everybody has a salt, sand, everything inside a building that's secured now, enclosed with the water and quality and everything going on.
What's the split on this grant? Is this 90-10 as well?
75-25. 75-25 or 80-20.
But Jay, the,
80/20 is what I had in my notes from our last conversation.
there is a max amount, so what we're talking about is Darren anticipating with the hiring of an engineer and increased costs, because time's gone by, the town needing to cover in excess, so it won't end up looking like 80/20, it'd probably be more like 60/40.
Yeah, but Nate, it wasn't time gone by that caused this increase in it. It was the estimate for the work for the grant was blown.
Right.
Did not have the entire project costs in that grant application.
Right.
And I don't see how that's a town board issue to deal with.
It did through the process of going off a contract and not finding out later on that we couldn't do that same way. That three other ones did it. That's where we went from.
Darren, stretch out your cord, it might help the hum.
I think we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do here, because it's $560,000 grant that we received. We're gonna have to build this one way or another. We're gonna get fined by DEC if we don't shelter our salt.
I don't know that.
I don't know that either, but if that's why we're doing this, I know other places have.
Yeah, other places have, and that's why they've been doing this. And at the state level, they're really pushing everybody to do them now, even if they got no money. And people have tried to do it, they don't even have grants, and they can't get a grant right. Somebody get it, they're forcing them to do it.
I don't understand by what you mean by they're forcing them to do it. I don't know of anybody that got an order of violation that forces a municipality to do that, what you're saying. Did that happen?
There's been people,
Just turn it off. Just use it.
there's a big water quality issue, salt reduction going on with everywhere, and people have it getting in their drinking water, into the streams. I have not seen anybody that has gotten one yet, but I've talked to everybody throughout the state that they have been getting warnings to start looking in and getting things done. And now that we've got a grant through the DEC and through water quality, that's just a red flag. If we gave it back, that's just my opinion, that it's a red flag for them to start coming out here and saying, you know, checking us over more and more. And I just don't see wanting to get into that process. But, and doing all this work, I mean, again, like I said, I didn't know we couldn't go through contract, or we would have had this gone and done and over with. This just came up at 2 meetings ago. That's why it was written the way it was.
So you're saying, Gene, not for us to worry about it until somebody tells us to do it?
I'm not advocating that at all. I think environmentally, it is an absolute necessity that we've got to plan for it and do something with it. So I'm not saying the salt storage shed is at all not needed, but it's not mandated to be corrected right now. And I think we've got to come up and we've got to find a way to have it not cost the town upwards of $500,000, because at the last meeting, Darren, you said this could be a $1.1 million project, and we've only got 500 some odd $1,000 in the grant. So this 187 is still a big disconnect between where the actual project numbers are and what it's, where it is. I don't have any clarity on that.
Clarity is to me, is the increase in cost from signing and getting things done starting before March. If we could have if I could have got done and did it and signed through the process that I thought we were going through with the contract, all our stuff would have been locked in at that price before March. We would have been good. But now we're not gonna get anywhere until after March, after July. The increase is not, it's not on us, this is just the nature of the product, of what's going on with everybody's. And there is a bill in New York State that they just put out for salt sheds that they're trying to get within, that I was at state meeting the other day with, and it's part of it. I'm not saying it's going anywhere, but we're trying to fight that too, but it's hard right now. That's where the cost is different.
Well, I don't know how much more conversation I can have about it because there's so many unknowns here. The numbers are unknown.
So what do you want?
I,
What do you want? I understand what you're saying, but what do you want? What does he need to provide you, or what does the board need to have to make this happen? We just sit here and go back and forth. Let's
think just a
make a
budget.
decision. What needs to be done?
He's gotta have a budget number for the project and where the money's coming from. That's not for me to decide where he's gonna get the money.
I think it is the board's decision where the money's gonna come from.
Ultimately, but to put the project together and how much it's gonna cost and where it's gonna come from, and maybe we can't do the grant. We have to table it for a year and reapply for the grant. But that's, at the last meeting, it was a $1 million project. How is the town gonna pay for $500,000 extra?
We have 720,000 budgeted. 560 a grant, and then we budgeted the rest.
Where?
Thought that was in revenues.
We budgeted 720,000 for it. 560 was the revenue. So 160 of it was something we budgeted already to pay for.
Well, obviously it came out of fund balance because it's general, and we
Which
used
came-
1.2 million.
So this is more we need, because having conversations
Exactly.
about it is not getting us to be able to make a decision. If you've got it written down, where it's paid for, how much the grant was for, what's our town share, where it's coming from, where you're proposing it come from, that's what I need.
At the last meeting, I was asked to give the difference of what it was gonna cost outside of what we budgeted.
And that's,
That-
but
And I
that's
gave that
wrong.
between 90 and 106,000. That's all I can give you, 10 to 15%. Is 90 to 106,000, plus whichever engineering firm the board decides to choose and go with. I can't tell you if you want to choose the lowest end, the guy in the middle. I am torn right now on which engineering firm to choose myself. But, and it's, my suggestion is that it comes, if it can't come from the money that we get back from the Wallace Road grant project going back into the fund balance, then can we use the fund balance to pay for this? Because it's technically not a highway project. So it would have to come out of the general side for buildings and grounds. So at max, that's why I said at max, if you went with the highest engineering firm and the 106, you're looking at roughly $180,000 more outside of what we budgeted. That's also, like I said, the highest engineering firm quote that I got.
Does the board want to discuss this anymore?
I think pulling a budget together and a recommendation on where we would make up the shortfall, I think would be the next step.
Got it.
Thanks, Darren.
I mean, I would agree. It kind of sounds like we're throwing water on your parade here a little bit, Darren, but I think it's something that we should be doing sooner than later. And I think just get your figures together for next meeting, and we'll go from there. But I'm willing to have this project to go along as quickly.
Any other discussion on it? We're gonna move on then. 5.5, Bolin rezone discussion. I would think we were waiting for Alex's response on this from the last meeting.
So what can I offer you guys? I gave my input on, Gene caught my attention on seeker. I was under the impression initially that we had to have that SHPO review in hand in order to review the part two and make an informed decision, but then my consultation with SHPO basically indicated that no, because there's no state approval or federal approval, it's not required. So we can make our own judgment, although they do recommend it. So you guys could definitely move ahead with that last piece of seeker part two review if you felt comfortable with it. Otherwise, you would leave it in play that Mr. Bolin still gets his SHPO review done from SHPO directly, but it's not required. I did check in with him on that, and it's in process. I don't know why it isn't farther along on his end, but
You checked in with who and on?
Mr. Bolin,
And what's in progress?
he did ask his engineering firm to get the consultation in with SHPO. It is not done yet, though. It's my understanding it hadn't been completed.
Any indication when they'd have that back?
My experience with them when I submit them is it takes 4 weeks once it's been finally entered. I rarely can't push them any quicker than that.
This is the only thing we're waiting on?
From the Part 2 seeker review that we did the day that I read through them all, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the board's wishes? Do you want to wait for it? Move on it? What do you want to do?
I'd like to move on it. After reading the email back from SHPO, I don't think anything there is going to change my opinion.
I didn't understand the comment about the Article 78. Why was that interjected into it?
I believe that's when someone contests this seeker review. So I think his input on that was that if you're concerned about being contested on your decision on seeker, if you have the SHPO letter in hand, it's just another piece on your side in favor of your decision making. It's not required as long as you've made an informed decision. I think he just threw that cautionary bit out there. I did look back, and as far as 2022, there were structures on the property. Multiple buildings have been torn down, so there's prior disturbance out there, but I'm not SHPO making that decision. But definitely had some other structures out there that got demolished and removed already.
I don't have a problem moving along with the process.
I'm inclined to let it run through the process as Mike's already submitted the application. And if we make a decision against it, I don't think that that's in our best interest. Just from the SHPO issue.
What would be the next step?
You need to answer the question 10 under the seeker form part 2, which Alex can walk you through and remind what the discussion was about that previously. Once that question is answered, then you could adopt the resolution regarding environmental significance. And then the next step would be to discuss the merits of the preliminary development plan itself, if you have any changes that you think need to be done to it. If you are fine with the preliminary development plan as presented, then it would be a resolution adopting the local law, authorizing the rezone and approving the preliminary development plan. Those are both at the bottom of section 5.5 of the agenda.
Okay. Does the board wish for Alex to go through that?
No.
Yes.
I'm okay with them.
Yeah, we might as well go through it.
Okay, majority says go through it.
Okay, back to the seeker piece. Part 1 was submitted. We reviewed everything, reviewed Part 2. This, as Nate stated, it's in Section 10 of Part 2. So it's Part 2, 10B was the item that triggered a question. It reads, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office. That's SHPO, Archaeological Site Survey. That's yes. You look online, check their map. It's got a gray area on it. So yes, and then you have to decide if it's a no or small impact may occur, or if it's moderate to large impact. Site acreage is under an acre. Those are the types of things you look at in your decision making. And what the feature could be that's out there. We know that, what was it, I don't know if it was a family house that was there. It looked like it was 2 residences and some garage space and some sheds. I'm just guessing from aerials and what I saw on the GIS property info.
Alex, which one am I looking at?
Street address?
No,
You
I'm
want short,
on-
number 2. What
Is
do you
it
want
number
right now?
two?
Part 3 go up.
this
Are you-
one here,
You want to go up. You want to go to number 10 on there.
on number 2.
Page 6 of 10 of the.
I see it now. Okay.
All right, so what's the board's response to Alex's, to number 10? No or small, moderate or to large?
Thinking nowhere.
Well, 10 is yes. So 10A, B, and C, that's what we're going through?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
10A was no, 10C was no.
10B is the one that's in
It
question.
was 10B that was left in limbo.
It's either no, small impact, or moderate to large.
I'm looking at that as no, or small impact.
No.
Small impact.
Yeah, small at best.
So answering that last question, Alex, if you could just briefly remind us, I think, or confirm for me, there was no moderate to large impacts identified by the town board in its review?
Correct. In review of all the other sections, all through 1 through, was it 18? We
Yep.
didn't have any moderates or larges. We have this one small and others that we've looked at that were small or no. So nothing required mitigation, if that's the case.
So with those answers being no or small impact to each of those, it would be appropriate for a resolution or a motion to adopt the resolution determining environmental significance regarding this proposed local law and preliminary development plan. If you want to take action now, or if you want to do action later. I guess it's just a question of when you want to.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now, Nate.
Whoop.
So I'll make a motion to the resolution concerning environmental significance on the Bowland rezone. And adopting that resolution.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert? Mr. Warden?
Aye.
And then it does occur to me, I think what you've done for the public hearing was you've actually held it open and continued it. And so you would need to allow the public to comment on the question itself now of adopting the local law and approving the preliminary development plan, closing the public hearing, and then taking action on the resolution approving everything, if you're so inclined.
Yes, would anybody like to speak on this rezoning? Mr. Bollins, Smith Hill property? As the public hearing are still open. Seeing nobody wants to speak. Oh, you wants to speak.
I'd like to go right from here rather than be up here. I've been sitting here waiting for you guys to see what you're gonna do. I have never seen anything drag out so long with so slow a pace. A snail is faster than this. If you don't approve it, I mean, it's only a lot down there, it makes some sense. Now, at this rate, we'd have a two-way street to Front Street. Come on, get your act together and start doing something with these things. I know, you've got things to investigate, but my God, do them, not one, take one this month, a while we'll take one next month, and that's, I've been following this one all the way through, and boy, this is ridiculous. Thank you.
Okay, would anybody else like to speak? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing at this time.
And then the next resolution would be to adopt the rezone and approve the preliminary development plan.
I'll make a motion to adopt the rezone and the preliminary development plan for the Bowland rezone.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
None.
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 So I've got just a couple of things I want to just remind the board about, some things in the past that we've done with these rezoning issues. And this particular one is before the board because it's to a PDD and it's residential. And we have on numerous occasions gone back to the planning board and the zoning board of appeals and directed them not to adopt changes that were inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. That was a direction from the town board to those boards to follow that issue. By going through this process, we're violating our own direction to our subordinate boards. We've got previous applications that we put dozens of properties in limbo on applications for when we looked at the community Route 12 area for the rezoning of the PDDRs down there. And that was the right thing to do. We went through and we evaluated where the zoning maps were, and we put every project on hold for that. This is a comprehensive plan issue that, again, we're also contradicting our own direction by allowing spot changes in our own town during this process when we're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in a comp plan. This particular one is an issue with perception because it is a subordinate board's application. He's a member on a subordinate board, and I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that this is special treatment for that. Even though this is the legal process, it's absolutely the process that's been available to every citizen in the past. It is available to him, but right now, when we're going through the comp plan, this really looks like it's special treatment. I just want you to be cognizant of that. And this is, and again, its intent and purpose is a variance, and this is a use variance that's deferred to this board because of the DR zoning change. It's also not consistent with our ethics code on being fair to all of the employees and the public and treating these situations across the board uniformly. I just, this is just not, this is not a project that we should approve. So that's my discussion.
Gene, I want to say that he's not, from my perspective, getting any preferential treatment. Extremely familiar with this parcel and where it is, and it does make sense to me. I don't look at this as a spot zone. I'm very familiar with the parcels that are around that, and to me, this is a project that could make sense. It isn't that he's putting up a smoke shop or some other type of commercial entity. I mean, it is used for residential use, although it is 8 units. This to me just makes sense. I know we're going through our comprehensive plan, but to delay this another 12 to 14 months while we go through our comprehensive plan just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know where Mr. Bolin is on moving forward with this, whether he does it or not, or how quickly he's gonna move along on it, but parcels like this that can be redeveloped for something that he's proposing, I think makes sense for the town. We're not taking a whole swath of space or you know, making one parcel halfway up Smith Road into a PDD district. I don't think we're doing that at all. And I think for the location of where this is, it makes sense with the surrounding community.
Anybody else has any discussion on this?
None.
I just think it's a good place for what he wants to do. Did you hear me? Yeah.
All right. All right, roll call.
Wait, just real quick. So I noticed in my review of the resolution, there's some typos in it, which I've corrected and sent the correct version to Adam. The typo is a reference to a conditioned negative declaration for seeker. Apparently, when I was updating the resolution, I didn't remove that reference. We don't need it because you've already finished your review. There was no conditioned negative declaration, so that's the tweak to it.
Thanks, Nate.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
No.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay. Moving on, 5.6, wastewater treatment plant change orders. This was another one that we had on the last agenda that we needed some comments from Mr. Erda on it.
Follow up on that, from what I understood, was you just wanted my concurrence that what B&L presented was okay with me, as well as okay with Greg.
Correct.
Leeson had given additional weather information to support the weather impacts on the project. I agree that there are some undue strains on the project where we didn't feel comfortable also letting them do any of the bypass work while it was negative temperatures or lower temperatures than expected. She gave the weather information to back things up, so I gave a letter just indicating my concurrence with their decision to advance the change orders. Again, it's change orders for time. The money component, there's no added money component to the contractors. There's some slight added cost on our own operations, my time a little bit, and then B&L's time to inspect. I don't know that they'll actually eat up the additional 3 months that they have. I mean, they're entitled to it, but she made a stipulation that they've got to have the bulk of the piece done and the 2 plants conveyed already at the same time that we're ready with contract 1. That's one of the stipulations I wanted to make sure she had in there as well, that they're not pushing conveyance stuff after Kuberki and the other contractors have left the plant. We want those flows down there. So they'll be doing cleanup work, not so much the substantial work.
Okay. Thank you.
Did we propose giving them a shorter amount of time? Wasn't that talked about, or am I making that up in my
Yeah.
mind?
I thought the way we left it, it was gonna be, the extension was gonna be till August 22nd. And then if they thought they needed more, then they'd ask us for a time extension then. That's what I thought her notes were. I was surprised it was still discussing the November
Yeah,
target.
what she had presented to them, they countered, and where they went back and forth on it, they came up with this time frame on it. You could certainly stick to a different time frame. It could run concurrent with the prime, or with the contract one, if you were comfortable with that, so they're done on the same date, similar to the original timeframes.
So what's the date proposed, Alex?
Right now, they've got a substantial completion, oops, I closed it.
November 27th, November 17th.
Okay, so we're looking at approving August.
I haven't seen nothing about August at all, unless I'm missing something.
That would be our date. Not giving them the extension through November.
But what I'm getting is that Alex is endorsing going till November.
Yeah, right now, contract one is extended, so they've got a substantial completion at the plant of February 11th, 2026, which got switched from there to July 30th, 2026. So we're looking at being done with substantial completion July 30th, 2026, with close out for the main plant. What they're looking at for the contract two for GD Vincennes and Matco, though, is a substantial completion of February 11th being moved to November 17th instead of that other date, like the main project, with a ready for final payment of January 19th, 2027. And that additional time frame was based on weather, based on that general condition within the contract. Was contract, it was item 2, abnormal weather condition.
But you're okay with their November date, though, right? Is that what you're saying?
From a work standpoint, yes. It does have the cost of B&L's extended time being out there, as well as the project completion extended out. So there's a little exposure to the EPA, DEC, and some financial exposure on the soft end of things.
Still will cost us more money. It's not, there is money
Yeah, it has
involved in
to.
this.
Yeah, it might not go to them, but there's always some added cost with
Absolutely.
somebody.
Do you have an idea when they intend to go back to work?
Today's meeting, they're not out there this week. Electrician will be out there next week. They've got things they can do. GD Vincennes is holding off. They said, it's okay weather right now. It's not bad, but they said with the way the weather is, what could they open up and then risk having it freeze? So they're still holding off on advancing things, which is understandable without, it's hard to bypass sewer in this weather and not have problems.
So
I'm
you're s-
hopeful that after next week's weather's looking like 17 again, down in the teens. So the discussion today was that they might be 2 weeks out on anything.
So it wouldn't be unusual to, or not unexpected for them to start working till like the 1st of March? April?
Yeah. One of the discussions today was that it's more likely later March.
I would say, give them to November if they go back and fix up all the stuff that's a little bit substandard, like the cement work on the structures for the pumps, instead of just putting bubble gum on them, make them look good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm okay for leaving it at August, personally. If they need more time after that, they can ask for it.
If you need to, I mean, we can go around with them again on it at your request.
I think the only issue, I see, because, we're talking, essentially, when we say August, we're talking August 1st, right?
Uh,
August the 18th.
The 18th.
For substantial completion.
So that other 90 days, so I would almost suspect us going with August 18th, I suspect the weekly letters would continue. They may not still be in numerical order as they are today. It might start, you know, a slightly different draft.
I don't think those letters are gonna stop after the 17th.
If we agreed to November 17th, you don't think those letters would stop?
No.
I think we might get a time extension request in November.
That's my concern.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing up to agree to November, it's their date. It's not something we opposed. If we think they're gonna delay it beyond August anyway, it's their date.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing to debate. They said this is what they need, we said okay.
I don't disagree with that as a platform. I just don't see any previous accountability between the engineering firm who's watching over it and enforcing those
Yeah.
dates and pushing it and having any real value.
Agreed.
And so,
I mean, you're right, it's been a problem throughout the project.
and I didn't see a justification in the letter from Barton and LaJudas about the weather. There wasn't any kind of data that I saw in this that reflected what was abnormal. And I know that that was a request specifically to put into the review. Did I miss it?
No,
There was an email.
The weather data
But-
was sent around. I don't see it in the agenda, though.
That's
But-
not in the agenda. There
but
was
to
an
Gene's
email.
point, even from the initial schedule, weather conditions were factored at some point. I mean, to say you ignored them is a little ridiculous.
Sorry, I misspoke on the dates earlier. I mentioned a June timeframe. I was reading the wrong line. Craig told August 18th. That's the Kubricki contract one. It is discussed with BNL every Wednesday. We do discuss, will they put on extra crews? Will they double up? Will it be one crew? How are they going to achieve the schedule? And it always comes back with, well, you know, we got the one crew. We'll do what we got to do.
And that's the process that I don't
That's a
understand,
huge
because
problem.
it's not a conversation. It is, you're behind schedule, you are directed to do it. If you fail to do it, we'll do it for you.
Mhm.
I don't know why it has gotten complicated outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, they have been reminded that the contract technically terminates shortly without an extension, or has, sorry.
In the event that, I'm going to ask a bunch of questions now, bear with me because I wasn't here for the original contract. In the event that we are fined, for whatever reason, that's 100% on us?
It would be initially,
Yes.
because it's the town that would get fined, and then we'd have to go back and try to recoup that, whatever.
So contract
Needs are-
law 101, when they're asking for an extension, that doesn't open back up the contract where we can say, we will give you this extension, however, in the event that we're fined, you pay 100% of it?
Well, yeah, part of this has been getting extensions from the DEC right along. You know, the DEC's been, I think, understanding of the project, the size of it, the various difficulties the town has encountered along the way. But, you know, at a certain point, if the town gets fined, and to Gene's point, the town pays, and then we look back at the contractors and start arguing about who's really responsible for the delay.
And that's not a negotiation right now where we can say, you assume responsibility for this now because we're giving you this extension?
No,
Well, that's a position, but it's not a
But you can't,
negotiation.
yeah, it's not, you can't enforce that.
So then,
The DEC's not gonna care if Steve Incentive pays them or not. We're the liable party.
sorry, dumb question, I guess.
No.
think our bargaining chip in, from that point of view, Luke, is that if that's the position that the town board takes with the contractor, it's, your extension is, approval of the time extension is conditional upon. There's that, but that hasn't been part of the dialogue up to date. I don't remember if it has. Does anybody else? No.
Not that I've seen.
At that point, even to negotiate that, you could negotiate penalties.
Mhm.
You know, if you get into that separate agreement to extend the time, add the penalties, including the DEC fines.
Yeah, and I agree with Dave that this, you know, the extension of time for, you know, for right now past August, based on an anecdotal presentation of weather delays of 3 months, isn't valid to give right now until we're at that deadline.
Okay.
Well, yeah, on top of the fact, I don't like the fact that we're hearing predictions on the weather and when we're going to start again. Like, I don't know what the weather is going to be like in mid-March. Why are we giving you an extension on what the weather might be? So I say no. Leave it.
Well,
Leave it
I
at the
think-
18th?
I was gonna say what you
Yeah.
are, I think are asking Leeson to prepare as a change order through August 18th, because that's not been
Correct,
presented
yes.
yet.
Because that was her recommendation.
Now hers was through November.
I thought originally,
No.
where did we get the August date from?
Us.
That's where all the other contractors have.
No, I
through.
believe hers was August 18th,
Her
and they
original-
came back and countered with November.
Yeah. I
And
thought
that's
that-
why we ended up with, which I don't understand why she just didn't say, no, it's August 18th.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's what's crossed out on these documents.
Yes. So it was a counter offer by DeVincentis that this is what we want.
Right.
So,
And there's a disclaimer against the previous claims. That it doesn't include or address those previous claims as being waived.
I'm not vouching for anybody, but another reason why they wanted to reduce was the three-phase to single-phase issue. It was a 3-month delay, removing 3 panels, sticking 3 panels, sending them back, getting them back in stock, then reinstalled. Nobody mentioned that, so I wanted to bring that up.
So, but to that point, that was the issue with the NICEAG delay. That, for the three-phase?
No, that was an engineering issue where they designed it at 3-phase.
they designed the whole thing at 3-phase.
Oh,
Designed it in 3-phase.
And there's no 3-phase anyway.
It is, but it's too much
It's
money.
not possible.
And you're saying that equated to a 3-month delay?
Well, the,
That's what I was told in the meeting from JD Incentives dealing with Aqualogics as far as moving the panels, sending them back, getting them to swap over equipment, shipping them back, and doing the installation was roughly 3 months ago. We
Well,
wouldn't do it on
I-
site.
Well, I'm looking at Leeson's letter here. It looks like by the middle of December, there was 13 pump stations ready for DeVincentis. As of the 27th, doesn't look like they've completed any of those 13.
No.
Which
Well,
two?
to have been what?
100% completed?
well, not cleaned up, finalized, and
Not
everything.
cleaned up,
Just,
no. Just installed and up and running.
Yeah.
Not, no.
no.
Okay.
Operational, correct?
Operation, correct.
Mechanically operational. All right, what would the board,
I
Like to
think we
see.
take B and L's original suggestion of August 18th then. because the other 3 months haven't been substantiated. I mean, I'm a bit torn on it, you know, because of just putting the ball back in the contractor's court, but
Yeah.
I'm fine with August 18th.
So what I see happening is that, again, this is not trying to sway anybody, just this is how my mind works, that at August 18th, that's when they're going to say that the treatment plant can accept the flows from Penview and Shenango Heights. So we'd have to make sure that everything else is in place prior to those being turned on. So they have to get all those lift stations that will accept those other additional flows. Just an FYI.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great
I'm
news.
saying, me too, that's why I'm saying is, that's what needs to happen.
That's what I expect.
That's what I'm hoping.
All right, so you want to
Not
send,
every lift station is getting additional flows from Shenango Heights and Penview, are they?
No, not all of them.
Not all.
no, not all, but there's a bunch.
There's some.
Yeah.
They will not turn, in my mind, they will not get turned on until August. Would be my best.
Got to make some decision here. Send it back to B&L for the August 18th.
Yeah, I think we need to, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's there's some additional substantiation for the additional 3 months.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Send it back to B&L to have that to August 18th, unless they could substantiate the additional 3 months.
I agree.
Is everybody on board with that?
I am.
100%.
Okay.
I agree.
Contact her tomorrow? Tell her. Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. 5.7, secure vestibule.
Greg, Adam, and I met and came up with some desired layout change on both sides that makes sense for both of them and the long-term use of their departments. I was supposed to meet with the architect last week, but I was not able to, so I'm trying to meet with him tomorrow or Friday. I haven't gotten that time set up, so unfortunately, while I was out with COVID, I blew my meeting with him. You saw that coming.
Okay. So we'll put it on the next agenda. I'm sorry. We'll put it on the next agenda. All right, moving on. There's no public hearings tonight, so we're going to go to new business, 7.1, town storage network infrastructure.
So I'm working with Pyramid and updating those quotes for getting that stuff together. The 2026 facilities upgrade plan that the town board said that was important to them is not an issue with making it happen. It is going to be the third quarter, fourth quarter implementation schedule, but it'll be in this budget year.
Very good.
And as I get that stuff compiled, I'll disseminate it to the board and we can have it for a future discussion item.
Okay, so you want it on the next meeting or wait until you compile it all?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be, not for the next meeting, the following meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, then 7.2 we already did. Renee had to go. Unless anybody want to talk any more about that, the audio or?
I don't have anything more.
Okay. Department reports, 8.1 highway report. Darren? Everybody see the report?
So you can see that on there, my light equipment operator, I interviewed out of 4, 2 that wanted to be interviewed. I've made a decision, I'm asking for the board to go to executive session to discuss this further. Second one there is that, every equipment operator for the guy who's leaving, looking to start, advertising for this, so I can start getting some applications in and get settled and get going by, hopefully by April 13th. We can see the breakdown of the costs there, what I broke down, what it is, and then where the funds would come from. As I am anticipating some, as you can see, I'm anticipating some sale of equipment, which would offset my fund balance, to being using a total of about 15,000 for this year, out of my fund balance of the highway, for payroll. I'd like to, if the board would allow, I'd like to do it on the website, board, and maybe Indeed if we can get it out there.
When is the fella leaving?
So he's here till, he's gonna be paid out till the end of the year, but his projected time to leave is right around September, October. But with what happened with the last guy just resigning and leaving on the nature and being short, I need to get somebody in here now that I've lost that guy who, it's gonna take time to get another guy trained on everything during the summer months.
All right, go ahead.
Are these, the highway equipment operator, are they in line with the union?
Yes.
And the adjustment is because of the classification? Why is there a shortfall on the,
There's a shortfall of 15,000 because I'm only anticipating sale of equipment being 30,000 this year. So the total budget needed is 45,000, 6850. That's where the 15,000 would actually be a true figure that I take out of my fund balance. I mean, the whole 45,000 is gonna be towards the fund balance, but I'm gonna get it reimbursed or put back when we sell the equipment.
You're saying that's a replacement, but is
Yeah.
this adding a person?
This
To-
is adding a person just to fill the remainder of this year, and then I won't, he's replacing the guy that's leaving
Okay,
for
so,
next year, so I'll be.
right,
back down to
so,
the
so
normal.
from a payroll standpoint, you're +1 for the remainder of the year, but
Remainder
you're
of this
back
year.
even in
Yeah.
'27.
Yes, that'll,
and why is the replacement being proposed before the other person's gone?
One, I am having a hard time getting qualified trained CDL drivers because I had 4 applications and I waited and I lost 2 qualified guys that went to another highway department already that told me for the last job that I interviewed, they took another job at the beginning of the year because they anticipated and thought we were gonna be hiring at the beginning of the year. How they thought, I don't know, but they were just anticipating they couldn't wait. So I'm trying to jump on CDL drivers as quick as I can because when this guy leaves, I don't have another CDL driver, and we need CDL drivers there, and it's so hard to get trained to get a CDL to start. So I need to try to push this as quick and on my side as quick as I can to get them in. And then number 2, to get them to train, to understand all our roads are, how we operate the things, our safety stuff, get it all in. I'm looking at getting a few months of that, and then we're into summer mode, and,
But this
all that's-
person's not actually gonna be not here until September?
this guy will start, I'm hoping to start on April 13th
Yep.
if I get anybody. That's what this is projected to start at.
Right, the other guy was leaving in
The
September.
other guy is probably gonna be, his time is gonna be done in sometime around the September, October timeframe, and he's still gonna get paid out because he's gonna use up his time at the end, like, and then I gotta get, so I'm hoping this guy can train and help him with all the other guys. But it's more or less of, there's no CDL drivers, or hardly any CDL drivers out there, and it's
Darren, you wouldn't start sooner than April 13th, payroll 9?
by the time I figured it out, no. by the time, because of the figures and then.
It potentially
knowing the
could be
timeframe
later.
that I want to it and do interviews.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay.
April 13th.
But it could potentially even be later.
It could be later, it could be
Right.
before. I don't know if we're gonna get applications,
Okay.
but this is the earliest I would start.
Any other discussion on this?
Well, I can sympathize getting CDL drivers. I see that all over the place. It does seem like a long time before we actually need them, but
Like I said, I wish I had 4. I wish I had those other 2 that went to another town already. Cause it would've been nice.
Resolution to do this? It's your fund balance, it's your budget.
As long as it's within his budget for employees, then he can hire. But I think he's identifying he needs extra funds. He's
Yes.
identified sources of extra funds through the sale of some vehicles and then appropriating a little bit. But the revenue realized from the vehicles is not appropriated. You would have to authorize appropriation of the funding.
Which really isn't an issue until we get into the September, October, November timeframe when that budget line item is low anyway. So, if he doesn't hire this person until June, the $15,000 isn't an issue. And you're not gonna be behind on any line item until the end of the third or into the fourth quarter for a budget line.
Correct, and I'm just trying to propose this because, and put it in front of you, because that's what was asked, because I don't have this budgeted right now. So I want to make sure that I have what I need to do to start advertising, to, if we can get the right person, say he is April 13th. I don't know that's gonna happen in this timeframe. But I just so I can, because it's not budgeted in my budget, I can take it out of my highway fund balance, but it needs to be appropriated from you guys to allow that to be moved from there to the line for that position, so it opens up the ability for me to advertise, is my understanding of the way it had to be done.
Is this exceeding the total headcount authorized for the highway department? Because I guess I see 2 things. One is the total number of bodies that Darren is authorized to hire through the budget, and then second, how much money is there to spend?
I have one more spot, through civil service, through everything to the county, I have one more spot to fill,
So,
that I could.
Gene, I understand your point, which is, well, this is a September, October issue, except I think Darren is saying, I'm gonna run out, and so it's good for him to bring it up and try to identify. Because if you said, oh, well, we don't wanna fund the money when he thinks he's gonna run out of it, probably shouldn't hire the person.
Well, that's also a discussion at the time of the offer of the hire. I mean, you can get applicants and you can present to the board what your selection is and what the actual cost is at that time. That seems reasonable and responsible for me to say, okay, here's the actual real cost. Looking at a $45,000 possible budget and authorization to increase that budget line item right now is just a guess. So, but you need the person. I would really like to see it more in line with where the need is, instead of just as soon as possible, but that's the work pool. I mean, get the person in.
I understand what you're saying, sorry, but my notes from when we did budget time was to do it this way, to bring it to the board so I can have the money aside before I went and published for it. That's my notes, and that's why I'm presenting it this way. So that's the only reason I presented it from when we discussed it at budget time and we cut this spot at the budget, was bring it all back when we know the time frame, and this is how I was done. That's the only reason I did it that way, and, you know, just to make sure I was good. So that's why it's the way it is. And I understand what you're saying. If you can allow me to go and do it and start the process, then that's even better. That's good too, whichever way you guys chose. Because I also have another thing after that.
Okay. I have no problem with you going.
I just wanted to make sure I was right, because if I don't have the money to offer that, you know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure that the board was that we all were on the same page, that if this guy, say it was April 13th, after I hired, I brought it back there, that we were okay to go forward from once I saw that guy, or possibly whatever, one or two, whatever choices. That's all. If that
I say
makes
go ahead.
sense.
Yeah, especially go ahead with the Indeed and the board and the website. And then I would make the recommendation that we actually move the budget pending everyone's approval when we know what the real budget is. Don't fictionally move $45,000 now because we think it might be. Wait until, and then the resolutions that night would be, in theory, let's hire John Doe, and also we need to move funds. But I'm definitely comfortable with this, and I agree, finding someone with CDL understood just by reading other businesses' issues, let's push ahead now and try to secure someone that you really like for it.
Darren, do you have a staffing plan of where you are right now, what you need to fill, and what your ultimate organizational chart needs to
Yes.
be?
Yes,
Can you disseminate that to us?
I can.
Okay.
I have exactly, I think I actually sent it at one point. I'll have to go back and.
Send it
redo
again.
I think I sent it
Yeah.
once a while ago when we talked about this, but I'll redo that, yes.
Okay, I think you're,
So the only thing I need is authorization in the amount to do Indeed, and somebody to do it for me, and who do I get that to? Is there a cost to Indeed, or do I get
Yes.
a free one?
well, you do a free
What's
one,
your
but you're probably
discretion?
not gonna get anything if you do a free one.
Okay, that's what that's my only choice. I didn't know what you guys thought would be, or who deals with that. I've never done one on Indeed either.
The last time we did it is at $500.
Is that what it was? I don't remember.
Are these civil service position?
Yes, this would be under the civil service, yeah.
So is there already a list that you have that's available to choose from?
It's non-competitive.
Yeah, I was gonna
no.
say, I don't think it's competitive.
It's under, we have civil service job titles,
Mhm.
but it's not competitive, it's not a civil service where I expect them to list, no.
Okay.
This position, no. I only have one within the highway that is that way.
Okay.
So do you want to advertise on Indeed?
I
Is
would
that what you're
like
looking
to,
for?
yes, just because of the need, because we opened it up to all of Broome County for
Okay.
our hiring abilities, so it would be a lot nicer to at least try it for, whatever you guys, I'm open to 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever.
It's your call, what you wanna open.
2 weeks would be nice to see.
Okay, I make a motion to advertise for the highway department on Indeed for 2 weeks for a fee of $500, the $500 amount.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
Have we hit that 500? I thought the conversations, we've hit it in the past.
They keep changing the way it's done. I don't know what it, we haven't done it in a while. You used to
Okay.
be able to set the amount, you used to be able to set 500, and then it would give you so many draws a day. But the last time I heard that you don't get that choice anymore. So I don't know. If you wanna,
Well, it's,
I can't, I was just throwing a 500 out there. I can't answer to that.
I know that we've done them for $1,000 in the past.
Do you want not to exceed 1,000?
I'm fine with that.
I-
I don't
I
want
am
to
too,
short circuit an
Go-
application in
me
2
either.
weeks.
Okay.
just amend
I
it.
will change, I'll amend my motion to not exceed 1,000. And if we can do it for 5 and it works, then we'll do it for that, but,
Try 2 weeks and write whatever 2 weeks costs, and we'll see.
okay. We'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Amend,
I still second that.
okay. Any other discussion?
No.
None.
Okay.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, moving on, 8 point, oh,
Sorry.
jeez.
Obviously, if we get a chance, I really need to do that executive session tonight. There's one other thing I really want to talk about, and I believe if we can do a 2-second conversation in executive session at the same time for it. I have other budgeting concerns on the budget side, that I don't believe should be in public comment for right now.
I don't know how that is an executive session discussion.
Overtime, premature. I mean, we can talk about that. No, it's not. It's a budget. All right, not to, because we got out of control, not saying, we had some going on, and it's not a problem. We're helping Greg, and I'm not having a problem with it. It's not a problem. I'm happy to do it whenever we can. I just want the board to understand at the end of the year, at some point, my overtime, my salaries are going to be out of whack because I didn't budget some time for my guys to do work with that department. We're not having a problem doing it. I just gotta let the board know that at that point, I'm not sure when or how, but I just wanna keep it on the radar with the board that I gotta figure out a way that we're going to,
Is there,
I don't know.
is there a way in your highway report to identify where you are, kind of a year-to-date type of thing with overtime that wasn't for highway?
So, yes, we have it separated on what we do with our guys for them, yes,
Can you make that part of your highway report?
up to this point.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll keep it up to date.
And again, like I said, it's not a big deal, I'm not trying to make, I just
No, I
want
know,
the board to
but
know
we
what my salary
should be
is.
aware of it before seeing the number in September.
Right, that's what I don't wanna wait to, and then because right now, with the way our winter has been, I'm already gonna strap myself, and I'm gonna be upfront honest, I'm gonna strap myself, because I didn't think I was gonna work every day on December, or the end of December, beginning of January with all this stuff, so it's just been one of those years, and I'll make it work, obviously, it always does, but I'm gonna be close myself.
Go ahead.
Well,
Greg.
there's no difference, I don't know, in the budget, there is not a separation on overtime for salary for interdepartment,
Mm-mm,
is there?
mm-mm.
No, there
No.
probably wouldn't be.
Yeah,
No.
so you've gotta be, that's, I mean, if you're talking about a line item for a budget that you're gonna be over, I want you to go back and cite the line item that you're at and where you're expecting it to be and where the disconnect is.
Well, I think included in that, up to the date, whatever those hours were that would be hitting his overtime line, I'd like to know that now.
Yes, I'm just saying, in that one line item on it.
Yes, right. There's no delineation for interdepartment, you're right.
So from a fund standpoint, when highway works for water and sewer, or water and sewer work for highway, really the monies should come from the
Right.
department. So, that's where Greg should also keep track of.
Oh, but if you're
any
billing him,
time.
then this is a non-issue.
We did last time, and
We did.
but I gotta stop right there, because
And once again, this would be something long out, but if Greg is using your guys and then there's a bill and whatever, and however we're tying that out, fine. But by paying overtime, we're not hiring an outside entity to dig a hole, which is the savings. So at the end of the year, and I didn't see them line item, but last meeting when we looked at those expenditures, we saw a $30,000 line item to a contractor for that kind of work. I know, Darren, you used some of that for grading or whatever, and then some of that was for water main breaks. At the end of the year, we'll be able to fiscally tie this out and make a decision on what do we do here.
Yeah.
So I don't see an issue with this. Thanks for flagging it. I think we keep track of this on
Right, regardless of how that gets reconciled, I still would like to see that up to date in your highway report.
and I'm trying to be transparent with the whole board and Greg in working this out, so that we
Yeah.
don't have what happened in the past, that's all.
Fair
And,
enough.
and this is a report probably that we should be getting from all the departments in regards to where are we pacing with overtime.
Right, because at some point, we're all gonna have to help each other. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a given,
Yeah.
you know?
Can I ask what happened in the past? Yeah. I don't want to bring up past. If he wants to discuss it tomorrow, we can. I'm good with that. I'm just, he helped me in the past. He billed me. I paid the bill. That's how it should work.
Agreed.
His guys worked for me. He should bill me his overtime. If he wants to bill me for
that too.
I just want to see what that is.
No, I agree,
And,
but I
and
don't
to see,
wanna-
because if it's not, he's not budgeting that, even though it could hit that line item and he's going to get the revenue for it, budget time, his budget line item is going to be higher than what he budgeted. I know there's an offsetting amount there, but I'd like to see what that is to date.
I don't want him to be discouraged not to go.
No,
That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want.
I think
But-
he's okay billing you.
But ultimately, all that is a transfer of
It-
line item issue.
Yes.
It is, but it's still a number I'd like to see.
Bill is a fancy word for what's actually happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
Good.
All right, everybody's fine with that? All right, DPW report.
The RFP for pumping went out. You can see it. We attached it. It didn't show up till late on Friday, so Kevin was gracious to put it in there. As you see, the price went up $200 per load for the pumping. Last RFP, it was $550 per load. Now it's $200 more. If I do the math and say we stop August, we budgeted $66,000 for the pumping. This is an additional $2,000 a month. Subtract the two, because if we end in August, if we have a 4-month lapse, we should be okay with roughly about $8,000 left over if we get those lift stations online by August, end of August. Even we can go to September, I'd still break even with that additional $200,000. I was also instructed to mention that we didn't need certain clauses in that insurance, the price wouldn't be this high as well. But it was requested by the insurance agent, so that's where we're at.
All right, I just thought everybody would want to see that bid that came in.
Yep.
Only one person bid it.
Okay.
All right, everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right, 8.3.
Just,
Oh,
just,
sorry.
just quick, Greg, one of the things I don't see in the RFP is a PRC number. So, New York State Department of Labor certified payroll requires a PRC number for every project. And I don't know how a $700 per load contract goes into a $66,000 annual year contract, because that wasn't in here as far as like what I was expecting. I saw $750. That didn't translate into $66,000 to me. I'm just saying from what I'm looking at, which is not an issue. But if they're paying certified payroll up for that for a public works project, they need a PRC number, and the contractor is required to be registered with the Department of Labor to have their own registration number, and that wasn't part of what I saw. So I'm mentioning that because that you should include that in everything that you're doing for procurement, where there's certified payroll involved.
I'm not sure this is subject to prevailing wage, Gene.
I'm not sure that it isn't.
I think it's not, because it's not it's not an Article 8 Public Works project. It's the pumping and hauling of waste material from 2 tanks or whatever they are. And I don't believe that it's a building services agreement, because they're not buildings in the sense of structures, is my understanding. I mean, I understand what you're saying. If it's subject to prevailing wage, then yeah, it needs to have a PRC number. But my understanding from when we looked at this 2 years ago or whatever it was, that it wasn't.
Well, I mean, Article 8 for the heavy highway has pump trucks. So I don't know that. All I'm saying is I didn't see it. Part of the discussion, if it needs it, make sure you file for one. But it is not just this issue. It is
Yeah, and whether it's related, it has to relate to a public works project. And my understanding of the need for this sludge and hauling is we need it regardless of this current project that we have going on. Now, I will say, I guess if we start using project funds for it, now it's part of the project, but to date, we have not been using project funds to pay this. It's just been coming out of the sewage, the sewer budget.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a Department of Labor issue, question, decision. I'm just mentioning it if it falls under it. And they determine that it is a certified payroll issue, because whether or not they get $750 per load, and they're still, if they've got to pay prevailing wage rate hourly to their guy for that time, it's a certified payroll issue. That's all I'm saying. Just be cognizant of that.
All right, any other discussion on that?
I have none.
None.
Okay.
I did have,
Okay.
end up going up above into the, talking about the building conditions study. I just had an update that was in there, that we did 3 water main repairs. Darren did assist, so I appreciated the help that he did. The wastewater treatment plant RFP for operations to go out, the help from me, that went out on February 8th. Then the other one was about the grant. We discussed that.
Sorry that that got moved around.
It's okay. I just wanted to give him his recognition that he did help. It was greatly appreciated, and he's still helping. So I greatly appreciate it, Darren.
All right, 8.3, attorney's report.
You see it there?
8.3.
I do have a request for an executive session to discuss proposed potential litigation against the town, actually regarding 2 matters. One is, you'll see an attachment in the confidential side that I'd like to talk with you about. And then the second is regarding the pending the currently pending litigation filed by that Citizens Solar, Shenango Solar company, just to give you an update on the status of that particular case. And then, Kevin, I'm not sure if you're going to bring it up, but I think an executive session to discuss matters relating to the employment of particular persons within the town.
Yes.
Yes, you're going to bring it up, Kevin?
Yes. Well, I mean, we need to do an executive session.
We would like an executive session to discuss matters relating to the employment of individuals within the town.
Okay, that's your attorney's report?
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for Nate?
No.
None.
Okay. Onward, 8.4 supervisor report. We see the monthly financials. We have an issue with it. There is some discrepancy in the sales tax that came in. It all went into the general. I mean, property tax. Did you notice that? Okay, so we've had that discussion already, and we're trying to divvy it up into where it's got. When you get the checks from the county, it all comes in one lump sum. You have no idea. It includes the EDU money and everything. So she has to break it out. Some's got to go to Darren. Some's got to, even all his money, it all just comes in one check. So she's explained that to her, and she's breaking that out. So we're going to correct that. Everybody see that resolution for the home rule on the solar issue there?
Yes.
I did have it in here if you wanted to do it. I was leaving it up to the board. The actual resolution, I changed it and had Nate review it. If that's something that the board wishes to do, I can, if you approve it, I can get it back to Association of Towns to take to Albany. But that's on there. The Smith Brothers Insurance, cybersecurity. I thought we did a resolution to approve that, but we cannot find a resolution anywhere. So he called and asked, what are we gonna do? So,
Sorry, Kevin, I don't see that on the agenda, so I don't know what it is you're looking.
Yeah, I don't see it
the
either.
Smith Brothers?
Yeah.
I had a phone call at the last minute.
Oh, okay.
When I came back today, there was a message upstairs for me that wondering what we were gonna do with our cybersecurity. Remember, we had, what's his name? Spencer, is it Nicholas Spencer come in? Talk to us about the cybersecurity through Smith Brothers Insurance.
I remember the conversation that
Did
we
we-
approved it.
Yeah,
I thought we approved it too, but we can't find a resolution anywhere. So I don't know if we approved it, we just never did a resolution on it. So we're gonna have to go back and
Yep.
revisit that.
Okay, I don't have any problem doing it next
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. All right. And then the only other thing I have is we had a conversation with Colliers Engineering, Nate and myself, did a Teams meeting with them on the comprehensive plan. And some couple highlights is we're gonna kick off on the 31st of March. The emails went out on that. She was contacting all the members that we picked for the comprehensive plan committee. We were suggested to be at that kickoff as a board. That was her suggestion. If there'll be more information as they get exactly what time that's gonna be that night. I think the actual kickoff meeting will be later in the evening, correct, right? 6 or 7? What? 5:30 was to meet with the comprehensive plan committee, I believe.
Yeah, and it is all open to the public.
It's all public, it's all,
To add some flavor to the recommendation that the town board attend that first meeting of that group, it's so that you guys understand exactly what they're being told, so that if you guys are asked any questions, you know exactly, and you've heard exactly what everyone else has heard. I do think that's a good idea for you folks, because you're gonna end up seeing the final product at some point, and knowing how it was developed is gonna be explained at this meeting.
they're developing a website right now. When we get that information, I'll forward it on to the board, or she'll probably forward it on to all of you. We are 2 months behind, so we're looking to finish in January of 2027 or February. I think that's where we were at with that. And then the other thing was the grant. What's the board want to do about the grant?
This is that climate
Climate Smart grant.
communities grant.
You don't have the contract or terms yet, right?
No.
Huh?
Contract and terms haven't come out on that, correct?
Oh, for the grant? I've not received anything.
I think some of the other ones are March 30th is when they say to expect them by.
So, we can just hold off. Yep, just keep
Until
going
we see
forward
it.
with,
Yeah.
I don't think we have to do anything with, yeah, I think the only thing that she stated that if we wanted to do that, it would have to be in the EIS. That's where the,
I'm not sure, I don't recall her saying a need for an EIS, but it does affect some of their.
well, that's where the MWBEs were in the EIS.
There's a lot of opportunities in the EIS to allocate MWBE funding. At least the conversation we had, Kevin, as I recall, was basically asking her to provide a real complete list of opportunities and things that could satisfy the MWBE, so not just the EIS stuff, but possibly some of the surveys that we might end up doing, or public outreach, those types of things. I mean, they could have somebody, it's probably too late now, but design a website for them. But yeah, that is a portion of it, because if you've agreed to take the grant, MWBE has to be satisfied, and they need to know that sooner than later so that they can appropriately schedule subcontractors to satisfy those requirements.
Well, the part of the EIS was not expected.
No, and that's,
So, I mean, to allocate those requirements into the EIS, I don't think would be a good idea, because we can't meet them then.
Correct, Gene. I think my recollection is she said if we do end up doing this, then that'll be easy to satisfy the MWBE if you choose to follow the grant. If we don't do the EIS, which is what is currently expected, then they need to think of other options to satisfy the MWBE, and they'd like to know that sooner than later so that they can get things scheduled.
he explains it so much better than I do.
I
Sorry,
say-
I
yeah.
confused you on that.
think that we need to tell them to not utilize the EIS for the grant, the minority participation.
Okay. Then we will tell them that.
Yeah, because we're assuming that you choose to keep the grant, then they're gonna have to satisfy it, and don't assume that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing I had was we advertised for the planning board and received no applications for 2 weeks. So Jody went back through the applications that we had before that were within 1 year. And she called them all, and there was 3 people that were still interested. And I put those there on the confidential side of the agenda. Just whatever the board wants to do. If you would like to interview them, or do you want to try to advertise some more? But we've left the sign out and we haven't had anybody. So we're going on 3 weeks now, I believe. So,
All I know is that they were interviewed for a different board, the zoning board.
these were for the planning board.
Oh, these are planning board?
Yes.
Okay.
They're still interested in the planning board. I didn't interview them. I don't know what order they were in.
Yeah, I'm in favor of interviewing these 3 applicants.
I am also.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
Okay, so we would need 1 board member.
I'll do it.
Okay. So Jody, try to put it together and get a hold of Mr. Donnelly and yourself. Get the 3 interviews done and come back to the board with a recommendation. All right, that's all I got.
Resolution 9.1.
Hang on.
Oh.
I'd like to make a motion supporting the home rule and restoration resolution.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that?
None.
I have none.
Does this encompass solar energy?
Yes, that's exactly what it's
That's what
targeted
it's about.
at. The Rapid Act and its predecessor give to the state citing authority and the ability to preempt your local laws concerning major electric transmission facilities, which are basically renewable energy solar farms. It's 25 acres and up. So this is saying, hey, give us back our home rule authority over these types of facilities. And then you'll note the last resolved paragraph says, and don't adopt anything else in the future either. So there is a proposed law on the books that would allow community solar farms. Basically, it would set standards for zoning regarding community solar farms, which are 5 megawatts and less, and override your zoning and home rule authority concerning those types of projects.
Okay,
All right, any other discussion?
I have none.
Okay, none. Yeah.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Resolution 9.1, approving abstract number 3.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
None.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.2, amending the claims auditing policy.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
None.
The only change on that was the deputy
To town
clerk to town clerk, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
9.3, resolution ratifying increase in credit card limit.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
What was the need for this?
So the reason is when I took over, I had to change the credit card. I had to cancel the previous, there was 2 credit cards. I had to remove both of those and had to put a credit card in my name through the town. And at the time, we were maxed out on the $2,000 limit. And I had, Darren was looking at for it to go, he needed to use it to go to training. Greg needed it for training. Renee wanted to buy two tablets. Greg needed a tablet, but so at the time we were like, we got to up this because we don't have a way to purchase this stuff. But after, so I talked to the bank and we upped it, obviously, and then afterwards we working with the clerk's office, we found other ways to go around using the credit card to make all these purchases. We have an Amazon business account that now we've been using, which is no tax, which is the proper way to be doing this, not through a credit card. So we did up for those reasonings, but if you want me to lower it, I probably can lower it back down. We're really not using it. I think last month was $800, so.
I'm not concerned about the $10,000 limit. I'm more just trying to understand why the need to have to use a credit card when we're working with vendors that can do purchase orders and invoices and avoid doing the credit card, because this seems like what you're describing isn't consistent with our credit card use policy.
It is not consistent. The way the credit card was being used was not consistent.
Right, but you're saying you've corrected
We have
that.
corrected that
Yeah,
with the
okay.
help of the
So-
clerk's office.
So is there a need?
Adam and Tim, we have done
Yeah,
a
do you-
great job of figuring out how to get around
Right.
even using the credit card at all. I
Right.
mean, they have to use it. If he's got to book a hotel room, Greg's got to do a class. Renee had to buy the software for one of the things that they only take credit card.
Yep.
Simple stuff.
I understand, and that was.
But the
part-
tablets,
Yep.
absolutely, we don't need to. Actually, I think we ended up doing that through Pyramid, right? I can't remember. Whatever.
Okay.
But there's other ways and proper ways to do it, because with the credit card, you're being charged tax, which you're not supposed to be.
Right.
So, we're catching these things, and he's doing it tax exempt.
It's the only way to get a tax exemption to do hotels and classes.
But the Indeed will be on the credit card. That is a.
Town card.
Well, I can give them the town card and our tax exempt one. If I give them my card and the tax exempt one, it doesn't work.
Right.
So that helps save that.
But that's where we're at with it. That's.
If $10,000 limit is what you need, then I'm fine with it. I just want to make sure that the credit card use is consistent with our policy. This is a resolution just to raise the limit on the card, and I'm good with that.
Okay.
Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
Resolution 9.4, acknowledging award of copier agreement lease to Ed and Ed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
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 Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye.
9.5, resolution acknowledging appointment of Michael Stone to the zoning board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
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 Mr. Slota?
Aye.
Mr. Simonis?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Hulbert?
Aye.
Mr. Warden?
Aye. Future board topics. We had an issue with a water bill. Greg brought it to my attention. He'd like to put it on the agenda for next meeting. Kind of like one of the ones we had before, for a broken pipe in a basement, and I think it was the sewage part of it is where he had the issue on the water bill or the.
Yes, there was an extremely high water bill due, water and sewer bill due to a broken pipe. They asked the part of the sewer to adjust it. It was out of my control, so I Kevin, I made a recommendation, we put it on the agenda. You want to look at it and determine if what I'm suggesting is adequate or
Greg, you emailed that recommendation out to us, right? Or Kevin, did you? Yeah, I
Oh,
thought,
maybe you
I thought you
got it?
had.
Okay,
I
okay.
I had seen it, not on an agenda, but in an email.
Okay. I just want to put it
Yeah.
on the next agenda. Is everybody all right with that?
Yes.
Yes.
With all the backup material? Okay. cybersecurity, you want me to put that back on there? I can try to get all the information together,
Yes.
put that back on there for the next agenda. I was contacted by the sheriff's office, and would like to come do a presentation to the board in April.
Regarding, you don't know what it is?
No,
They want to come in
he
April?
wants to make a presentation, him and the sheriff and the captain would like to make a presentation to the board in April, asking if they could be on our agenda in April. Well, oh,
So,
I'm just asking, can I put it on a future agenda?
Yeah.
I haven't replied back or anything yet, okay. Okay, all right, just, what are we supposed to do with it?
There hasn't been a grant agreement sent yet, I think, so at some point, the town board will have to approve the supervisor's signature on the grant agreement. But you don't have to, you can always reject it if you want, but that would be like the next item. We just don't know when that's gonna happen because we don't have a draft agreement from the state yet. Is my understanding.
I know, I,
Maybe put it as a, or in future board topics, just so that it's on your radar and every
Okay.
meeting we can say, hey, is that coming yet?
all right, so you wanna,
Are we doing secure vestibule next meeting? Did you say two meetings?
whatever you guys tell me, I'll put it back on there. You want it back on there next?
No,
I didn't want it on there in the first place.
tell me when.
Say when.
I'm hoping to meet with Ken Gay tomorrow or Friday, and after that, I would know when he thinks he could have his revision, plus the estimating that goes with it.
So kick it out 2 meetings, just to make sure that Alex has extra time.
You think by the 4th, Alex?
I don't see why not. It's not a major item to revise and estimate.
Okay. Push that out
March 4th.
to the 4th. Is the salt shed going back on the next meeting, or you need more time?
So here, I am out of town Tuesday and Wednesday for that meeting night.
Okay.
I'm hoping to be back on Wednesday, so if you want, we can put it on there. I'll be prepared for it, but barring I'm back in town for the training. I don't know how long I'm gonna be gone on Wednesday. I should be back, but I don't want to be here. But I can have the information, for sure.
All right, the board want that on there?
Want to do that or the 4th?
I would like to do it on the 4th, God forbid, just to, hopefully I'm here, because I'd rather not push it off and be here, that's the thing. If I'm not here, then we'll just push it to the following one. That's okay.
Put it on the 4th.
Put it on the 4th?
Just put it on the 4th there, when you're not, you got time.
Okay, we're on the 4th. And so I guess we're gonna have that change order back probably
Correct.
for next meeting. We're gonna go to the 4th for the infrastructure or even farther. We'll hold off on that. Correct, Gene?
I have that for the 18th.
The 18th? Okay.
okay.
I was sitting on the future topics, but Carmichael Road, I know we're still a little ways off, but that's discussion that needs to be, so we can figure out what route we wanna take. Cause that would become scheduling.
So you're saying you want that on the next meeting?
Nope, we can put it on, just saying
A
sometime.
future
you know,
topic?
because whatever you guys feel, I just saw it there and I just wanna
Okay.
get it, some sort of date in the next, in March sometime if we can, or beginning April.
Do it on the 18th.
Put the planning board vacancy, you think you'd be able to get it in before the next meeting?
I wouldn't see why not.
Okay, put it on for the next meeting. Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I hate to put you guys on the spot here a little bit, but in terms of the grant I'm seeking, the timeline isn't gonna work. This RFP just came out last week, and I'll read a text from Tim. I have, with another one being offered to me tonight. It's now or never.
The grant,
Isn't he part-time? Yes.
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 So how do we, can't pay him hourly, is it different than what his salary is? So I'm confused on that part of the presentation for this. If he's getting paid, we just authorize the extra time for him to do it.
Well, I don't think that he will do it for the pay that he's getting paid. He does grant writing.
Part-time, right?
The grant writing is not a component of his job title. And so, it's like not in his civil service job description, if you will, or it's certainly, this is I think the logic or the way that I have to see it. He's the deputy clerk. Grant writing is not within the town clerk's or the deputy town clerk's scope of duties.
Well, then he's got to get proposals and quotes from other people because it's over the threshold.
Right.
Right, because he'd be at $1,250.
Yeah, and that's a 1099 issue.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but still back to Gene's issue, how do we pay him?
So because it's, I think, completely outside of the scope of his duties, you can pay him
Lump sum?
more, yeah. I mean, it'd be hiring him as a independent contractor to do the work, and if the Department of Labor ever came in and said, why are you paying this guy? Be like, well, because he's being hired to do very separate work from his normal work. This is not normal town employee business. It's something separate. And you're paying him more than his normal hourly rate anyway. Be different, or there'd probably other concerns if you were paying him less than his normal hourly rate.
I just think we've got to follow the procurement policies.
Can reach out to Mari, ever give you a quote? I'm just saying, she might be able to put something together quickly, but again, just look at the policy. As long as you meet the criteria of the policy.
It's just a short timeline, that's all.
Yeah.
I get you. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
no,
right.
I
Yeah.
hear you, but
Yeah.
I agree, we do have to follow the policy. If we miss it, we miss it.
Yep.
Gene, did 1099 go to 2,000 now?
What?
1099 go up to 2,000 now?
Not from our policy. I mean, the 1099 has always been 600.
I think federal switched this year, though.
What's that?
I think the IRS switched it to 2,000.
I don't believe New York State did.
That's why I was asking. I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not aware that New York State changed it. But I don't know that. I don't know that it switched from $600.
I can discuss it at a different time.
Any other discussion on
But
future
that,
topics?
but that has nothing to do whether or not it's, the procurement policy for the town is what we've got to follow. Yeah. But we got 15 minutes, guys.
I'm asking, is there any other future topics? Are we done?
I have nothing.
Okay. Done with future topics. Okay. Open forum. Greg, you want to speak? No. I would, do we need him?
Up to you.
Well, I can't guarantee you that we're not gonna. That's all right. So which one do you want to do first?
If it involves Greg, let's do that first.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but
So we need to go into executive session.
So it's yours,
Yeah,
Darren, right?
matters relating to employees within the DPW, matters relating to employees in the highway department. You had one.
Can they be the same session?
Town employees.
Yes, there's four, I think 4 reasons. The 2 that we've just identified, and then 2 relating to pending.
That's a separate
litigation.
session? Or can they all be one
I
motion?
think you can do it all in one motion. It's
but what's the reason for the employee?
matters relating to the employment of an individual within the DPW, you know, the hiring, firing, promotion, suspension.
Okay.
Same presumably with the highway department. And then 2 matters relating to pending or proposed litigation involving the town.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to go into an executive session to discuss town employee issues and 2 matters regarding lawsuits.
Yeah.
But you have to be specific on the employee matters in the department.
In the DPW and the highway department regarding the hiring and firing and promotion of employees.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go, we don't got a lot of time.
Average $1,200 in New York State. It went up with the minimum wage. You want some?
It did. I just saw it, it said 2,000, but
Federal's 2,000, state's different. And Long Island and New York City are different than upstate. Yeah, my question wasn't.
And there's a drain that drains that field house. So it does a
Well, just, I mean, so Tim can move forward. So Tim can possibly move forward, but I'm not sure. I've heard, I think the other can't. Yeah, it's kind of. What is that, Lincoln dinner thing? How many last night? What's that? How many people?
It's pretty full. Whoever fits in that, I think the tent is late. And it's full.
That may catch, what, 600 some people? That's
It might even be more than 500. That might be more.
a lot of people.
I think you try to put
It's,
what everybody wants.
a long time ago, that's what I did. Trying to run that center.
Yeah.
With, you know, without extra help, just the two of us, we could do 330.
Wow.
That was pushing. Two of us. The food was good, but, it's a lot. You have
All right, back in regular session. Anything else tonight, or are we done?
I'd like to make a motion to terminate Doug Walker as code enforcement officer.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I have none.
I'm okay at the end of probation, which is March,
3rd, I believe.
I don't remember when that broke. Gene, it was, might have been the 5th?
Probably say the effective the day before the last day of his probationary period.
Okay, then I'll amend the motion to terminate Doug Walker as code enforcement officer the day before the end of his probationary period.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I have none.
None?
I have none.
None.
Mr. Slota,
Aye.
Mr. Simonis,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Warden.
Aye.
And then
I would
the
have a discussion about advertising for the replacement
Okay.
of that position.
Yes.
So I just, just to make a motion to advertise for the position at the current salary rate for 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks. 3 weeks? For 3 weeks.
Do we have
Through Indeed.
I was going to say, do we have to budget for Indeed
Yeah,
again?
do we need
Yeah,
to?
Not to exceed $1,000 or
1,000.
something?
yes.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have none.
None?
None. I'm
None.
sorry, Ken.
Okay.
None.
Mr. Slota,
Aye.
Mr. Simonis,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Holbert,
Aye.
Mr. Warden.
Aye.
And then one last thing that we talked about, a motion to approve a settlement agreement regarding refund of taxes with the BC Laundry.
Yes. Do you want me to say it?
Somebody?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to settle the BC Laundry tax grievance.
Second.
No, you didn't like that.
Tax refund.
No.
Yeah,
it-
I mean, it's, I'm okay with
It-
it. I understand the context of it. Yeah, I'm okay.
Any discussion?
None.
Is the motion to proceed with it, or do we need to do that by a resolution at the next meeting?
Ooh.
Proceed
We
with
can do that at the next meeting, just to,
Just give you direction to
document
put the
that.
Right,
resolution
so make a
together for
motion
it?
for the resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess- Then I'll amend that, because you're right. I think that needs to be by resolution, right? Yeah. All right, so I'll amend the motion to make a motion for a resolution for the BC Laundry tax agreement, or tax agreement, I'll call it a refund. Ooh, that
I know what
became
you mean, and there'll
that
be a
became
resolution at the
word
next
salad.
I'll still second that.
Okay.
It's
Mr.
after 8
Slota,
o'clock, Gene's.
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Simonis,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Holbert.
Aye.
Mr. Warden.
Aye. No, anybody have a motion to adjourn?
Do we keep them in our pockets there? You want to wrap them up?
Put it back in the bag.
Put it back in the bag and then with your name on it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.